Good morning. So today I am going to talk you through your maths task today. So in your packet that you got on Friday, you should find some papers, some geometry papers called lines. The first one says lines and angles, vertical, horizontal, diagonal lines. So if you look up here in the information box, it shows you what a vertical line looks like. It goes up and down. And it shows you what a horizontal line is. Now, I talked about that earlier on in the year, where you have the vertical, up and down, and horizontal, straight across. Okay, and a diagonal, see that word there, is all the lines that go on a slant. Okay, so this first sheet should be quite straightforward. Number one, you're going to tick all of the vertical necks of the giraffe. So if you've forgotten what vertical means, vertical, you can look up here. So that's the straight up and down. Okay, so tick any of the giraffes that have vertical necks. That's the first instruction. And you're going to put a circle around any that have horizontal necks. Remember, if you forget, look above. And put a cross next to the giraffes that have a diagonal neck. Okay, so that should be straightforward. Moving on to number two. How many lines are on this shape? Okay, so it's asking how many vertical lines. Remember, that's straight up and down. So I'm going to look on this star. Are there any that go straight up and down? I'm going to say no. So I would put a 0 in the vertical. Now I'm going to go for horizontal. That's straight across. So I'm going to have a look and, oh, it looks like there is one here. So I would mark it and one here, 2. So in horizontal, I'll put a 2. Now for diagonal, I can look at all the lines I have left. They must all be diagonal because I've crossed these 2 out. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you put an 8 in diagonal. Okay, so if you cross the lines out as you're going, then you'll be much more accurate. Let's continue down. And it says here, shapes can be made up of straight lines, curves, or a mixture of both. And these are just picture examples. And it wants you to draw a shape that is made up of only straight lines. Okay, so any shape at all. It could be a completely made up one, but it has to be made up of straight lines. Then draw a shape that's made up of only a curve, and then draw a shape that's made up of a mixture of curves and straight. That's page number 1 done. Now remember, if at any point you want to pause this video and just be working through the sheet at the same time as I'm explaining it to you, that is fine by me. So on page number 2, we're looking at some letters, and we're going to explore these letters with this page to see what kind of shapes make up these letters. Okay, because all of our letters in our alphabet are made up by lines. So these 2 letters, P and D, belong together in a group. Okay, which other letters do you think would belong in the same group? Record them and explain to your partner why. Now, you don't have a partner with you unless you've got somebody working with you. And if you do, great. But if you don't, you can just have a conversation with yourself in your head. So have a look at these letters again, thinking about straight lines and curved lines. Do they only have curved? Do they only have straight? Do they have a mix? And if so, can you think of any other letters that might fit in their group? So record those letters just here on your sheet and then explain why these letters are all in the same group. Moving further down, there are 2 more letters, T and Y. Now, it wants you to have a look at what group these letters would be in. Okay, all straight lines, all curved lines, curved and straight lines, and write which other letters belong in this group. Now, I want you to look at this alphabet and really try and put every single letter into one of these groups, okay? And so you could even cross them off as you go, see which group that they can fit in. Now, there's a final question which is going to make you think a little bit more carefully. Here, they've formed a different group. These letters form a group A, Q, R, N, M, V, W, and X. Can you see why these letters might form a group? So you might have to think carefully